Okay, that's a short intro, beautiful. Thank you everybody. Herzlich willkommen here in Linz in Electronica. We're going to speak English for everybody to understand. So we have tonight a very interesting today, the GET.Inspired, digital innovation, and I'm going to a little bit explain from my point of view what it is. GET.Inspired, the digital innovation, is the spotlight promising projects in the field of artificial intelligence and presents a broad range of initiatives that offer skill building and training measures in selected digitalization topics and technologies. Organized as part of the AI5production, the largest of 4 Austrian European digital innovation hubs. And we are invited today academics, artists, and educators and researchers for providing inspirational insights in the educational and offering what to do in AI. And for today, I want to start already giving a very warm welcome for Mr. David Vivancos. He was a very big pioneer in the beginning in the field of internet Java, and he will give a keynote presentation, the lines between human evolution and technology blur. He is also author for certain books. One of them is The End of Knowledge, and also from Big Data and Artificial Intelligence, 2019, and also started a long time ago the mindbigdata.com to transfer how we interact with electronic devices. Give him a welcome to Mr. David.
Thank you very much for the introduction. It's a great honor for me to be here. Last time in Electronica was in 1998, so a long time ago. I am very glad to give in today this keynote about this fascinating topic of human knowledge and beyond it. And yes, we are in the moment of trying to delegate knowledge to machines, and that is going to be fundamental for us to understand and to see where it's headed. We are now in what I call the new golden age of artificial intelligence, and that is something that is going to change many of the things that we have thought for many time that are real. Even we are starting to see things that we thought were irreal, and now they are starting to become reality thanks to the use of these new tools like AIs. I hope you get out of today with butterflies. Butterflies is in your head. It is another of the symbols of hope, because I think there are many things changing in this world, and it's fundamental to understand it. These entities are not yet here, but are close to be among us. Not very far from here, we're going to have entities like this roaming around, and it is fundamental to understand what is happening. I have been many years working on techno-anthropology, because I think it's fundamental to understand how technology shapes humans, and we shape tools, and tools shape us too, and we have been creating tools for a very long time. For now, AIs are just another tool. Maybe some days they're going to be something different, and that has been so since the beginning again of time. Since the Stone Age to the modern age to everything in the middle, we have used the tools, and that tools not only shape who humans are, but also have been able to help us go beyond. Of course, now we all have these smartphones in our hands, our way to communicate with technology and to use technology from a very early age to all ages. And that is changing the way that we think about ourselves, and the way that we understand having all this kind of data inside of our heads has changed many of the factors today. Of course, without the use of these tools, we won't be able to understand the world as we do it, and by the use of these digital technologies, we are into that new world. And that is starting to have a merge, because we are not just humans, we are starting to merge ourselves with machines, and that will have profound implications on what we can think we can do over the following years. And yes, we are in a race between humans and machines. For some things we are still winning, for others, machines are starting to be better than us, and that also raises profound questions. Because if machines get all the jobs and we don't have to work anymore, I hope they have mercy with us in the new world, because otherwise the future is going to become a bit complex. It is true that this mixing of biology and technology is more closer than ever. Probably technology by itself, it's enough. And that's why I wrote my last book, The End of Knowledge, to explore some of these topics, the topics of delegating knowledge to machines, and what is going to mean that for humanity at large. And we will explore some of them. Starting with knowledge, I think knowledge is what made us. In some sort of sense, it started since the beginning of it all. Since without knowledge, we won't be able to do anything. When we started to use language enabled our capacity to build communities, to build societies, and also to build new tools to try to understand our world. Understanding nature was one of the first things that we do when we start to use that knowledge. And we have been in this battle of nature and humans since the very early on too. And when we discover writing, of course, that enabled the communications through time and space of all the things that we know. So without these kind of tools, we wouldn't be able either. And we have also needed another way to try to expand this knowledge. And for that, we use, of course, the printing press to try to multiply all that knowledge into mass production. And now we use digital technologies. We have more knowledge than ever before. We have stored more of the knowledge that we were able to acquire. But that's not enough. Of course, we need to communicate it. And for that, of course, we discover or develop the internet and communications like that, so we can transfer and be connected anywhere, every time, to any who. And that's one of the fundamental things that we have developed. This is one of the main equations that I think we need to understand. Knowledge is the essence of work, and work is the essence of societies. And that has been true since also the beginning of humanity. And now we are starting to delegate knowledge to machines. And that will have some profound implications when this knowledge is only developed by machines. So this presentation is going to be a lot of questions, and one of them is what happens if knowledge is acquired by the machines. Machines will do the work, and then what is going to happen with the new societies? And those open questions are things that we need to solve because the clock is ticking. We have less time to be prepared to this new world, and that is one of the fundamental things that we must get out of here today, how to do it. And for that, we need to explore another equation that's from data. We have developed AI, and with AI we will develop automation. Data is flowing all around at the moment. We have a lot of data in our hands, and that data is also helping us to understand better how a human device works. And that understanding of ourselves, even if it's not complete yet, it is starting to develop in these days. And we are now in what I call the datification of the world. We are starting to try to dematerialize the world, making it digital. And through that dematerialization, many of the things that are in the physical world are now here. We are also in this golden, of course, is data. If you own the data that your company produces, you own a lot of capacity to keep increasing. And the data scientists are the new alchemists of this new era, the ones that are able to work with data and understand data and work with these machine learning algorithms and AI algorithms to go beyond that. And deep learning is the technology that has kickstarted all this. We wouldn't be here in this golden age of artificial intelligence if not thanks to data, thanks to computing power, and thanks to this kind of algorithms. And now machines can see better than us in most of scenarios, and 2/3 of our brain are devoted to vision, so it's tricky to understand that that's the reality at the moment. The same happens with language. We thought that language was something only for humans, but now we have machines that are able to speak and even to understand language to some degree, in some sense, even a bit better than humans can. And that is starting to bridge in the gap between the past and the present, and hopefully one of the futures that we will be able to create is aligned with all this. We have seen it in healthcare. Healthcare, thanks to that, we have developed vaccines, we have developed new treatments, thanks to the use of AI in this equation. And maybe also thanks to the use of AI, we will be able to understand a bit better how we are made. This DNA, this intersection between DNA and microbiome, and how it mixes together in blending together. It has already helped us develop many of the algorithms that are starting to understand a bit better what is our place in the universe. Still, we don't have a lot of the answers for that, but some of them will come. I hope that in education one day we will have one teacher, one student, and that we can have with humans. We need to have this augmented by AI teachers to help us learn better. And hopefully also we can be able to fix the problems of nature that we have been creating over the last few decades, maybe through the use of AI, that could be a solution. And we also need a lot of energy. Machines need it too, but we need it too. And we need cleaner energy, and we need better ways to store energy. And that, thanks to AI, maybe one day will be a good reality. It's still in the making. But we need to be protected because these AIs that today are still just a tool, someday will be other thing, and we need to understand what questions we need to ask before it is too late to do so. Because this automation is coming. If we have data, we have AI, the next thing, the next logical thing is to automate. And thanks to automation, it could be a very good thing because we could liberate one of the main assets that we have, that is our time. Because if we don't have time, and for now time is limited, and that's thanks to AI, and automation will be one of the ways to recover all that. And that can free our time to be creative, to do other stuff that if we do repetitive tasks, by not automating them, we are basically losing a lot of human time that for now is limited. But the new game, we don't have the rules, we don't have yet the way to understand how these machines are going to behave, so we need to be trying to understand all these relationships. And new questions arise regarding what is going to happen in a world where all this knowledge is delegated to machines and machines have the work. How are we going to build that new automated society? Because the full automation can be a possibility. A world where 100% of the jobs are done by machines is not far-fetched. It's something that is, if it's done right, to free our time could be good. But that should be done across all the world and trying to have this in a global mindset. So it's basically don't leave people away from this. So it's done for good in some sense. Another option is to try to merge ourselves with machines. These biotechnologies that are starting to appear to try to tap into creating a mix of humans and electronic devices is also a reality. Another option will be to work together instead of trying to be just humans or just machines, trying to work together so we don't get apart in this complex equation. And for creativity and art, a lot of new doors are opening. I think it's a fantastic time to be creating art in this new world. Maybe a few years ago, we don't have that much capacity and tools. And that, of course, is the way to expand our imagination, to expand our capacity to create. And that is enabled by many of the tools of today. Machines also maybe want to be creative. I don't know if they have this capacity to think yet, but of course they want to be creative. And all of the stuff that we have been seeing over the last few decades, a decade and so, is astonishing. We have many tools to create astonishing visual art, like Journey, Flash, DALL-E, and many of the others. And of course, that is creating a new landscape for creation that was totally unthinkable just a few years ago. And of course, they can also write poetry and write many of the things, thanks to the GPTOs and the clouds and many other technologies. But another question arises, this is just mimicry or they are just creative? For now, I think this is mostly mimicry. But at one point, that could change. For now, what they are doing is just using all the knowledge that they acquired from the past, copying most of the time from previous artists. They develop with that kind of sensibilities. But for now, emotions is something that is just human. Maybe one day we'll be able to capture that kind of emotions that we all have. But for now, it's a human trait, at least for now. Also, this capability to create together, also to understand and to appreciate art together is something that humans is uniquely human, at least for now. Beyond that, it is going to happen one time that we are going to have these machines that are going to think that they are creative. And when they look at their mirrors, they will see something like that. In that sense, it probably all kick-started when the first art was sold on Christie's in 2018 for $400,000, fully created by an AI. But this is not yet the time where they are starting to get these aesthetic sensibilities that we humans have. Maybe one day we'll try to contemplate art and see different things than the ones that we see today. And maybe one day they will merge also in these families of humans and robots and humans and different kinds of societies. And then the cultural context that is fundamental also for human creation of art will be needed. I think for the moment we are using it as a tool of augmentation. I think if you're an artist and you just use AI or other tools to help you create, of course you can move faster than you can do alone. We have seen many examples from the music industry to others to creating full plays with the use of AI augmenting the capability to create. And in the creation of virtual worlds, we don't have enough humans to create all the new worlds where we can have different kinds of lives and have different kinds of scenarios. Of course, it's helping creating different kinds of facets or even imagine new worlds that are impossible in this physical world that we live. And for that, AI is helping a lot. The thing is, if one day they are going to have this unique view that 8 billion people of us have in this world, for now they don't have this because it is not embedded in the data that they are using to learn. We are using it already in trying to extend and augment the creation. If we use that tools, we can go beyond what we can do with our bare hands or even with the technologies that we have built in the past. Even people with different abilities are able to create thanks to be assisted by these new tools. So basically it's helping a lot of people move forward. The thing is, they will be one day fully creative. Maybe the art that they create is going to be quite different than the ones that we create. So maybe we weren't able to truly understand that. And maybe a lot of legal questions will arise. Who will be the owner of these new plays, of these new creations, but these new entities? A lot of questions that we need to understand and to answer someday. And we are now in the moment of delegating this knowledge, and probably the last human knowledge, we are delegating it at the moment to machines, because basically they are much faster than us in trying to capture knowledge. So basically the time runs different in an AI brain than in a human brain. So basically they can acquire knowledge much faster than we all can. And all the knowledge that humans have acquired through our history, they can do it in following months or years. So it's not going to be a matter of, in the case of time, they will have a better grasp of how to use all that. And they will build new worlds that we can't even imagine, and that's something that we must be prepared also to understand and to see what are the implications in all facets of our reality. Even the sociocultural context of how they understand all that knowledge and all the knowledge that is created, not just as single entities, but mixing together all these AI entities will be also something that we need to explore, because we are in a moment where data is flowing everywhere. We have a lot of data that is converted into knowledge. Now the equation is not just data, it's knowledge. And that knowledge, maybe not all is captured, and hopefully we have all other new sensors that other animals have, for example, that is not yet captured. So there is many knowledge that is not yet in the hands of humans, and either in the hands of machines. So they will have to build that new models, that new understanding of the world. In that sense, that's the same as our brain creates world models, they will create that too. The thing is, who is going to win this battle? Our biological brain cannot go much faster than it can, at least without augmentation. So that will raise, again, new questions regarding how humanity is going to deal with that. I think it should be a mix. We need to use knowledge, we need to give a lot of knowledge to machines, and hopefully we can get some of it back. I think we should become wisdom cultivators instead of just knowledge acquisitors. We have been doing it for the last few centuries. Now it's time to get into the wisdom world. We need to be shepherds of these machines, because at the beginning they don't know what they are going to do. So we better handle all that by getting in touch of what they do. And maybe it's an opportunity to fix all this earth that we are destroying at quite fast pace, and maybe these AIs one day will be able to help us solve all of these critical issues that we are creating. The thing is that this tide is coming. This wave of innovation, this wave of change is coming already, and it can tear everything apart unless we change our way of doing things over the following years. The thing is, there are two options. One option is to stop the machines, turn off all the machines, and so that they weren't able to really surpass us humans. So people think that they can pause AI, so they can really stop the development of new big models. So basically, we stop the machines to overcome us. Basically because they fear the things that they have heard or seen in the science fiction works of the past, where machines take over humanity, and humanity is not come very good in that scenario. That's one option, but I think that's an error, because time, for now, it's fundamental that you use technology to understand all this better. So I think it's not the way to try to stop or pause AI. I think, on the contrary, we need to embrace that we are going to live in this new world where humans and machines are going to be working together to build a better world, instead of trying to fight against that. For that, I think we are just in the moment to try to steer the direction of where these machines are going to go. They don't have yet the capability to do that by themselves, maybe one day, but for now we can try to steer that direction. Because they are starting to get into the real world with embedded AI, and with robotics, and anthropomorphic robots will be here anytime soon. One day will be more robots, humanoid robots, than human on Earth. And before that, I think we should embed the ethics into the things that we develop, instead of just trying to believe that technology is going to be fixed by themselves. We are still in the moment to try to get that. I think the effective accelerationism is one good way to think about this. It's a philosophical movement that started a few years ago that thinks that if you don't keep increasing your capacity, a collapse is coming. So basically you need to keep increasing the capacity to evolve and create, instead of trying to stop it. And it's a very good approach to try to frame this. Because AGI is coming, it's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. It could be 3, 5, 6, any time, we don't know exactly when. But it's a reality that unless we stop completely technology, that will come. And a bad way to frame it is to think that we are in the 4th industrial revolution. That's a total error, that we are not in an industrial revolution. So basically we are in something that is totally different. We are in a change of era. And the time to be prepared is narrowing down. We have less time to be prepared to what's coming. So the sooner we start doing things, the better for all of us. Because surfing this new wave is complex. One of the companies that I advise, Cubic, we call it True AI instead of AGI. And it's a reality that we need to surf that wave before it is too late. We need to use first principles to try to understand how these machines working inside, and we don't have yet enough capacity to do that because they have different architectures. And again, more question arises regarding how are we going to understand something that we cannot have enough capacity, human capacity, to try to understand it. And also, the race is on. It's too late for some things to get into one of these cars because it's accelerating. It's not just speeding up, but it's quite fast at the moment to be prepared. This is something that across the world we should do it as a society, not just as a single humans, but trying to build together and understand that it's going to affect these 8 billion people and counting on planet Earth. And it could even reshape what we think about ourselves, about the way we think inside of every one of us is something that could be changed by the use of these new technologies. Because one day will be consciousness. That's not something that is far-fetched. Today they are not, probably they are not, but one day that could be a reality. And when they get to that consciousness level, then another new legal questions will arise. They will have rights and responsibilities like we do. Yeah, we need to think about that before that happens. The sooner, the better. Those are not just philosophical questions. There are real questions that we need to tackle before this wave of innovation gets rid of all the other things that we have. Because this new intelligence is going to be alien to us. We are not going to understand at the beginning, maybe a little bit, but once they develop, we won't understand because we'll be in a way different level of us. But for that, I think we need to focus on building new tools for understanding. And for that, I want to introduce you today one new field of study, that is the field of artificiology. If we have anthropology to study how humans and technology work together, I think artificiology should be focused on trying to understand machines themselves, instead of just thinking on human, but thinking on them, on how they develop, trying to dissect how they develop and how they create this new understanding. At the moment, they are not consciousness, but when they are, this will grow at some point, probably in the following years. And there's not going to be a single AI. We need to understand the channels of communication, how they communicate between them, and will be not again one single AGI, will be many of them. So we need to understand how these different trees will evolve. And this is going to be one of the new questions that I raise today, to understand how these connections will evolve and how will they play together. Maybe even they will develop some kinds of different cultures than the ones that we have, and that we need to try to understand them too. It's like trying to understand a totally new, different species, and from a human standpoint, it's going to be tricky. And hopefully one day, when they look at the mirrors, they will see some humanity in them, because we were able to embed this humanity into these new creations. Otherwise, we will live in a complex world, and for that, the tools of artificiology could help us trying to build that map while we can. This map is not going to be easy to create, because again, we don't have all the good tools to do that, and even again, we don't have the rules of how this game is going to play out, because it's not going to be again a single AGI, there will be many, so we don't know exactly how they're going to play their own games. One thing for true is that if we try to do it as a human alone, trying to navigate all that complex world that we are creating, I think is a bad option, because we again don't have enough tools or enough human capacity to do so. Even we may be able at one point to try to mix these brains of humans and brains of AI, so we can understand them better and we can have this relationship. And as a decision is coming, we need to think if we want to keep living in the previous world or we want to embrace the new world that is coming before, again, if it's too late. We don't have a map of this world that is coming, we are just creating it. We don't even have probably a compass to try to do that, so we need to find ways to try to understand this before it's too late. One thing I know is that we should try to remove the egos of the past that have been so harmful for humanity and should be more harmful if we keep doing it in the following years. And these new entities, we will need to understand that they are going to be more intelligent than us, and that's something that for humans is going to be difficult to understand, that something is more intelligent than we are. That can be daunting and overwhelming for many people to see them in that world where they are not the most intelligent entity on the universe, and that's something that we need to think in advance. If we do this right, and it's not going to be easy, maybe a better world is possible. We remove some of the inequalities that rule the current world where we live, and that's just an option, it's not the one. I think we are not delegating enough knowledge to machines, and in that process we are also harming the capacity for them to evolve and for us to fix most of the issues that we have. If we have delegated more of that, probably most of these problems that we have worldwide will be fixed. And we need to do it cross borders, because otherwise we're going to have like different ways of development in different countries. And the balance, again, is a bit tricky, and we need to take it as single humans again, to take our own decisions about how all this is going to play out. Of course, if we find good paths, maybe we can, as humanity, work together to try to follow those paths. So that way we have like better directions into where we need to move when all of this is coming. And even our own understanding of the brain could change a lot, because we know so little about our own brains. Maybe by the use of that tools, we will understand much more. The rewards are immense, but the path to get them is not going to be easy. So basically, if we don't have the map or the compass, it will be very difficult to navigate all this. But the rewards, if we do it right, are fantastic. But maybe as human species, we need to take that last decision to really think that we need to embed with these new devices and think like this new future could be a possibility. And I think here at Ars Electronica is the fantastic place to raise these questions, because all of you have a great mind to try to understand how to shape together what is coming. Because it's on the palm of our hands to decide if we want to do this or if we want to just keep waiting until technology becomes so complex and so different than us that will change everything. I think our unique views, the views from the artists, from the policymakers, from the public at large, is fundamental, and every one of you have a unique view that needs to be embedded on these things that is coming. Well, as you may have guessed, all the previous images that you have seen are made by eyes. This is the only human thing that you are seeing here. This is my own brain from the last company that I am building, Mind Big Data. And today we don't know much about that. That device that we all have, we know very, very little. We have 8 billion neurons and trillions of connections. And hopefully, thanks to the use of AI, one day we'll be able to understand a bit more how this device works to make better decisions. I think to finish, I think it's fundamental to understand that we are not alone. And to take this hope, I think we need to use both machines and humans. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very intriguing. And we're going to have a short Q&A, so I will take some microphone. We have a short time for some questions. I mean, look at the title here. I'm going to turn it around. Hope. Who will turn the tide? I think that could be a nice one to discuss about, because you talked about knowledge.
Yep.
In general. I mean, our society is based on education. Our kids are growing up to have a good education, get a good job, and we love specialism. You know, you want to be a fireman or you want a computer programmer, and what can turn the tide for our generations?
I think that kids that are around here are the ones that can turn the tide, because they will be probably the last human teachers of machines. You probably will be one of them. So basically, teaching machines is one of the key responsibilities for the next wave of humans to do.
All right. And we had some questions for Adam. Oh, got a different mic. Oh. Anybody questions? Oh, still on. The microphone is coming on. Also, a small question in between about origin. I mean, if we talk about creation and automatization, a lot of creative people are a little bit skeptical about what is coming up. I mean, Van Gogh, suffering topics and not only knowledge, but the context of knowledge, where the original come from. I have a love, pain, and I create work for Gogh cut his ear. This kind of context. How do you see that with AI training, or how in the future?
Yeah, I think it will evolve, because at the moment they are just trying to copy or to mimic what they see in human previous traits.
Yeah.
But at one point, that kind of algorithms will evolve enough to be fully creative. In some sense, we can think that they are starting to have these first glimpses of creativity. Yep.
Okay. The question. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much for your presentation. It was very interesting to hear about it. But I missed some aspects of the term knowledge. Especially, there is a part of our knowledge which is very deep inside us. It's called implicit knowledge. It's called tacit knowledge. Mm-hmm. And AIs don't have this, and they cannot touch this kind of knowledge. It is really deep in the human race. Mm-hmm. And I don't see, and I can't see how this could be introduced to AIs. That's the first point. So it's for me a very limited point what you said. And the second point is trust. If we don't trust AIs, it will not work. Mm-hmm. That is the second point I would like to add. You mentioned it in terms of ethics, but it's not the same, because it must be both-handed. We must trust AI, and AIs must trust us. It must be on both sides. That's the second point I see. So we need a human-centered knowledge management, which I don't see and I didn't hear in your speech. And I'm very skeptical.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your 2 points. Regarding the first, it's true, we humans are the sum of 100 billion previous humans that have lived on planet Earth. So sometimes, thanks to our development of knowledge in the past, and to our way to communicate that knowledge through different generations of millions of years, we are here today. So basically all that knowledge is not yet in data, so we can teach that directly to machines. So we need to see if they were able to infer all that kind of knowledge that is fully human. And it is the essence of these 100 billion people. That's where I think it's fundamental to have these 8 billion people that we live today to be there in these new AIs that we are going to create, because at the moment we are not there. The data that we all create, what we are just is not just DNA, it's DNA and many other things that we do together, and with that we don't have that yet in machines. That we weren't able to have that is probably true. It was basically because it's lost. These 100 billion points of view are totally lost in time. We may have just a glimpse of what is possible thanks to the development of writing and many other things. Some of it is here, but most of it is not. And most of it is not even just digitized. So it can be used to train these machines to understand what being human 1,000 years ago was a reality. So that's totally true. Regarding the trust, is totally true. In fact, it's one of the chapters of my last book, because we need to trust machines. Unless we trust machines, this is going to be very tricky for us. And since we are not trusting machines at the moment, we are not delegating enough knowledge to machines. And that can be also, as I say, really harmful to us. But yes, we need trust. Without trust, it's not going to happen.
We have last question for Hans. Sorry for that.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. If I understand your presentation right, you have a lot of confidence in the power and the possibilities and the development of AI. And I was very curious, maybe in relation to the topic of hope. I think the databases where AI is based on are mostly at this point still Western based, so based on Western knowledge, Western historics and that kind of thing. So I'm kind of curious if you see any trends or development to equalize the databases more, because also in your pictures it's a lot of Western aesthetics, the robotics, the cities and those kind of things. So I'm very curious if you see any developments towards a more equal database, which make, I think, regarding the topics of climate change, equality, city development, education, all those kind of things. Do you see any trends and developments in making it more representable towards the diversity of the human popularity?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think at the moment it's not fully all the world, all the different cultures, all the different countries of the world are not represented, all the different humanities are not there. The thing is that to train AIs, we don't need data, of course, and data to be able to digitize that data is going to be complex in a city that works like different than the modern cities that you say from the Western, and some of the cities are going to be more complex to understand how these humans behave, and we don't have enough technological capability to do so. But the other thing is that we don't have enough brains of machines to understand that. So there are not, we don't have even just 1 million of good AI brains, like for example the NVIDIA's H100s. We don't have even 1 million of them yet. So we don't have enough brains of machines to try to, even if we have the data, to try to understand it. So it's both ways. We need to have good initiatives to develop this kind of knowledge. I usually go to AI4Good. It's a conference in Geneva. I present my previous book, Automate or Be Automated, there a few years ago. And that's one of the places where we are starting to create think tanks to see if we can develop that across the world. But of course, a lot of money is needed. And money not only to capture data, but also to try to create these new models. For now, if you use ChatGPT-4o or Cloud or the others, if you use it in English, you have like a better understanding of what's happening. If you use it in Zulu or whatever other language, it's not going to be the same. So that's one of the other critical issues where we don't have yet answers. Thank you for your question.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks very much for the questions. We're going to continue with 6 other speakers. Later also, afterwards, always feel free to David. He is also writing another book, so after the session from the Get.Inspired, more questions you can do being personal. So voila. We're going to have, yes? Yeah. So we have 6 speakers today, and I want Rainer Stropek, is he available? Rainer? Yes, Rainer, welcome. This is for you.
Thank you.
And he's one of the 6 speakers for today, and we're going a little bit...
Taing is missing.
Sorry?
There is a second speaker here in the slot.
Ah, sorry for that one. Sorry. Yes, we have it. And welcome, Kheng Tiang. Please welcome. Thank you very much. Yeah. The youngest into the field of AI from the Austrian automation company, Dynatrace together, and they do a small presentation. Correct?
Yeah, so it's just I have an image video just to share with Dynatrace.
Yeah. Do you use the mic for if you have the mic? I can also give you both a mic. Maybe hand, yes. Does it work? It's on. The presentation is running, sorry. We have an excuse for this.
It's okay.
It's okay. Let's continue.
Okay, so that maybe just a short introduction. My name is Kheng Taing. I'm co-founder of Dynatrace. Dynatrace is a software company that makes other software work flawless and security. And maybe you have likely also benefit from Dynatrace, but without knowing that, because the Dynatrace is used in areas of such online shopping, banking, travel, healthcare, and many other digital services. And Dynatrace is so our technology headquarters also here in Linz, and we are expanding again. And we also pioneered AI technology for more than a decade. Personally, I have been in the tech space my entire career and worked with startups as well. And as the world really continues to digitalize further, I believe it is crucial to educate our children to use technology wisely and safely. Additionally, the demand for tech talents is stronger than ever. Therefore, I'm really passionate about nurturing new talents by educating children as well as bringing international talents to Linz. And I'm also a passionate business leader for sure as a co-founder of Dynatrace, but I'm also passionate as a mother of 2 girls. One is studying computer sciences and the other one will tend towards more law job. No matter, I think, to what direction they will go and take, I believe that there will be technology, digital technology, there will be AI, and there will be fake news, and there will be also fake videos. That's why I'm really keen about giving children the opportunity to go beyond what they learn at school. And I'm really super happy to be supporting awesome collaboration we at Dynatrace have with Coder Dojo. And yeah, Rainer, maybe you want to tell the audience more about the program.
Absolutely, I'm more than happy to do that. Thank you, Kheng. Thank you very much. My name is Rainer Stropek from Coder Dojo Linz, and we are a volunteer-driven programming club for kids. So kids in the age of 7 to 17 come to us to playfully discover technology, coding, tinkering with electronics, things like that. We have professional mentors who spend their free time at our programming clubs, helping kids with their projects, for instance, to discover the fascination of technology in a playful and funny way. Now, we have been a long-term exhibitor here at the Ars Electronica Festival. And in the last 2 years, we had the opportunity to tightly cooperate with Dynatrace. And we made artificial intelligence the center of our exhibition here. We really think that it's important to make kids, to introduce kids to artificial intelligence, to the possibilities, to raise their fascination for this technology, because we deeply think that artificial intelligence will influence their career and their education. Now, what did we do in more details? Last year, as I said, together with Dynatrace, we implemented a child-friendly AI based on Azure OpenAI ChatGPT, where we trained this AI with prompt engineering to steer kids through the process of inventing a story. It was important for us to not just awe the children by how awesome AI is. No, we wanted to demonstrate to them that AI can be a tool which helps them to become more creative. It can be a brainstorming buddy. It can take over some tedious routine work that they don't want to do on their own. And we had a great success with that. We had a lot of kids coming to us, and even their parents, their teachers, they came to us, and even some adults had their first contact with advanced AI systems at our booth, and we had a lot of interesting discussions. After the Ars Electronica, we had the opportunity to even take this project a step further and made it available to schools and to external cooperation partners, where it was used with additional children, for instance, at schools or at school-related events, which were done together with our corporate partners. Now, this year, we wanted to change things up a little bit. So we discussed to go a little bit away from the text-based inventing a story thought to images, because we know that children love to play with pictures and sound effects and things like that. You have to understand that Scratch, I think many of you know the Scratch programming platform, right? Scratch is a cornerstone of what we do. It's a perfect way of getting kids into writing code without having to type. So what we do this year at the booth, together with Dynatrace, is we give kids world-class AI systems like Midjourney, 11 Labs, and many other image processing AIs, and let them generate assets for small little games. They can create sprites and background images and special effects and a computer voice for telling the background story of the game. And then they can take these assets and create a computer game with it. So we combine algorithmic thinking and Scratch together with creative AI tools. So far, it's going very well. Yesterday, I have seen bears gathering honey in the woods. I've seen spaceships crossing meteor showers. I have seen a frog catching flies on a pond, for instance. It was really amazing to work with that with kids. They have a lot of fun. And of course, we offer them, when they are done, we offer them the possibility to take what they have created and digitally take it home with them, so they can show it to their aunt, to their mom, to their dad, to their grandmother, to their grandparents, whoever is interested in. So this is what we do this year. It is really an honor for us to be here at the Ars Electronica, because it's a unique opportunity to not just meet local kids, but also meet artists from around the world, visitors from around the world, and cooperate with companies like Dynatrace. So thank you very much. I think this brings us to the discussion, right?
Yeah, sure, discussion. I'm very intrigued, especially for the young generation, how to learn and adapt. I mean, my nephews, we learn from coding, blockchain, all those every 2 seasons, and also at Ars Electronica, we're getting new names in terms of automatization and creating new software and creating games or visuals. How do you see the future for kids, how to develop them, not only in being trained or being, how can I say it, connected with the software AI and machine learning, How can your software also help them in a later stadium?
I think that AI has a great potential, especially for children when it comes to education. Every kid can have a personalized tutor for many different areas in their education path. But for that, you don't have to be afraid of AI. You have to be curious. And this is exactly what we want to do with our installation. We want to raise curiosity. We want to open potentials, open doors if you want, so that kids are not afraid. They just approach AI like any other tool with a playful curiosity. So that's essentially what we do. Do you want to add something? Yep.
What will be for you the ultimate dream at the end with what you're developing in the programs? As AI has endless possibilities, and we talk about storytellings. We're creating storytellings and having faster outputs in terms of, you see, rocket ships. What will be for you the ultimate dream at the end for the developing all the software you're making for the kids?
Particularly here at the Ars Electronica, what we see is that for kids, it's very simple to create something with AI. They sit down, they say, I want to have an image of an alien in space. And then they get an alien in space. But then they try to move it one step further. And they say, okay, how can I add 7 eyes? And suddenly they recognize that it's not that easy to tell Midjourney to add 7 eyes to the alien. So they recognize that just generating some random stuff with AI is trivial, but making AI doing particular certain things that they want is not that easy. AI is a tool that has to be mastered, like many other tools. And if they take away this idea, it's simple to just browse stuff, but it's not that simple to use it in a targeted way. If that is something that they can take away from the Ars Electronica Festival, we are super happy.
How can you simplify a small child what AI is? How do you explain a kid what AI is? It's just a general. I mean, it's not easy, but I think it's core essence for us now in terms of understanding all the terminology and to explain to a kid what AI is in general. How do you explain it to a kid?
To be honest, no kid asked me that.
I'm sorry.
They come to us. No, it's fine. They come to us, and kids don't ask us. Okay. They don't ask us what is it and how does it work and where are the limits and where are the dangers. They want to have fun. They want to play with it. And this is our approach at Coder Dojo. It's not our job to have a structured education path. This is something that schools do, that education facilities like universities do. For us, it's just raising curiosity, sparking interest, having fun with it. That's exactly what the vision of Coder Dojo is. So, of course, I could try to give you an answer about that, but kids don't ask us that.
But that is maybe we'll have to also to learn how to embrace it. That's what I'm saying. Thank you very much for today. Any questions later? They're here. Our next guest, Bernhard Freudenthaler of University Academy. Herzlich willkommen. And the AI Academy has a boot camp for adult education, and that will be the topic, an upper Austrian research organization, RISC, working for decades in the area of digital transformation. The stage is yours.
So, well,
does it work?
Does it? Now it works.
All right.
Thank you for the nice introduction. Welcome also from my side. My name is Bernhard Freudenthaler. I come from RISC Software. And coming from educating kids now to training adults. So we have a RISC AI Academy, and in the next few minutes I want to present you or give you a short introduction in it. First of all, RISC Software, who are we? RISC Software is a non-university research organization located in Hagenberg. Hagenberg is 20 kilometers from here, from Linz, in the beautiful software park Hagenberg. And we have this RISC AI Academy since several years, and I give you a short introduction to our AI Innovators Bootcamp. First of all, I just want to say a few words to RISC Software. We are developing software and doing research for logistics, industry, medicine, and IT. We are a team of about 85 people, and together with our colleagues from the Risk Institute, so we have also a university institute at the Johannes University, there are about 30 people where we are doing fundamental research, and in the software, in the risk software, we are developing software products. Does it work? Next slide. Now it works. So just one slide about our AI Innovators Bootcamp. We are doing this AI Academy especially exclusively for organizations like companies, other organizations, but also a public one. It's the AI Innovators Bootcamp. It's a 5 days bootcamp for adults, not for kids, for organizations like companies, public organizations, and so on. We are addressing basic understanding of AI, want to show which opportunities are in AI, but also which limits AI has. And for us, of course, as a research company who is developing software products, how to bring AI use cases in reality and how to use it in practice. Our target group are not AI experts, so the idea of us is we do not want to train AI expert even more and better. Yeah? We want to target on AI beginners or with basic knowledge in AI. Why we want to do that? Because we are convinced that AI will influence all of our work in the next years, I would say. And so we want to train also these people, these adults, who will be also influenced, not just the AI experts, but also the other people. So we are normally a very interdisciplinary group of participants from HR, from sales, artists, for example, from IT, of course, project managers, and so on. And there we have really cool discussions, I would say, in this interdisciplinary group, where to get insights, thoughts from different branches, different groups, and so on. The AI Innovators Bootcamp has 5 modules, from AI Essentials, where you get basic understanding on AI. Then we go further in how you can use agile software development technologies in developing AI projects or products. Then, of course, the process from coming from data to AI and how you do that. I think a very important thing, AI and law, which law aspects has to be considered in the future. And last but not least, of course, also a view into the future, the AI future, where we think where AI will develop in the next years and so on. As I said, we are coming from the Software Park Hagenberg, and this is a picture of the Software Park Hagenberg. It's, I think, a very innovative, nice place to work and to live. We are located here in the most beautiful building of Hagenberg, I would say. It's really a cool, inspiring location to work there. If you want to visit Hagenberg, you have the chance already next week, because next week on Tuesday, our next AI Innovators Bootcamp starts on Tuesday with AI Essentials. So each week there will be 1 day of this training. And if you're interested, of course, scan this QR code where you get all the information about this workshop, about the 5 days, which target groups we address, and so on. So you're highly welcome, of course, to do that. So I just wait some seconds that the QR code can be scanned, which comes already to my last slide about my contact details. Today is a special day, I would say, here at Electronica. We also have as Risk Software our own event here, which starts in 5 minutes. So I have to leave in 5 minutes to our own event from Risk Software here at Electronica. As today is a special day for us, and if you're interested to join this AI Academy, we will give 1 free ticket. So everyone who is interested and send me an email or send me a message in LinkedIn, today until midnight has the chance to win such one of these tickets, which costs normally about 1,350 euros. So if you're interested, just send me a message, and tomorrow morning or at noon you will get informed if you won the ticket or not. So thank you very much for your attention, and if you have questions, of course, I'm ready to answer and discuss with you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. Hold on. And you're going to have here, at 2 minutes, you're going to run to the other side? Yes. Okay, then we will skip for the question. No, give a big applause for him, and then we'll make sure that we share all your details. Thank you for everything. Danke. Our next guest, Bernhard Krabina, he is here. Give him a well welcome. The context, the chatbot from the city Linz. En dat heet Vraag Ellie. Ja.
Okay, where can I find my presentation?
Can somebody want to see his presentation on the? Yeah, you have it.
Yes.
Yeah, chatbot Linz.
Yes, I'm going to talk about Linz GPT, which is our approach and service for AI for the city. Yeah, there were some developments already in the past. One of the first things, fortunately, was guidelines for the city administration, how to use AI, because AI tools are available everywhere, and you need to raise awareness, meaning you should use your AI, but be careful. Data protection issues, copyright issues might arise, and we want to learn from each other, from the things that you do. There was also a failure that the web team tried to combine the search functionality of the website of the city of Linz with AI. This was cancelled. It was experimented with that part, but it is not so easy to do that. What they also did in the city administration was they started a AI pioneer group that visits regularly, meets up regularly, and exchanges experiences, talks about potential use cases for the city administration. An important part. Myself, I work in the ICT Linz, that is the outsourced IT department, so we are a separate company. We have invested in our own hardware, where we try to run in-house large language models like Mistral and Whisper, and we did our first prototypes with that. We have to also gain knowledge how to do these things on premise, yeah? And we have a partnership with a company providing this service, Linz GPT, that is our own in-house large language model. And what is it? Linz GPT is basically a partnership of the company based here also in Linz, 506. You might have heard of 506.ai. We are actually neighbors in the tobacco plant, in the Tabakfabrik. And what is it? It is an independent model hosted just for your organization. So you get your own large language model that is hosted on secured servers. The infrastructure is independent from the vendors or from the creators of those large language models. Currently, we have ChatGPT 3.5, 4, 4.0, Mistral, and Gemini, but others will probably come. It is a secure environment, so it's hosted exclusively in Europe. There's no connection to OpenAI in the States, for example. It is protected against external access, so the staff using those models can be sure that no information goes anywhere without our knowledge. But that's not all. They also have some business features. They have this unified interface. I will show you in a second in a little bit of more detail. So you can just switch to different language models without learning a new interface or being confronted with a new interface. You have a shareable file structure. If you have a very successful prompt, then you can say, okay, I want to share this prompt with my colleague. Also what they have is a prompting template, so you can very easily create a template. For example, this is a prompt now for social media, and you just add some details for beginners that do not have to have experience in prompt engineering, how to create a successful prompt. You can just have a template for them that they can use. You can also upload files, so individual files that you can use in your prompting, and you can share those file storage also inside your organization in order to use it within your prompts. And there's also the possibility of crawling websites, so you can also add this information to your prompting. So what you get actually is you have your own customer entity, which is in Germany, AWS servers, and on the back here you can see the Asia large language models that are hosted there. For example, you have your ChatGPT 4.0 there, and you have a database server also in Frankfurt. And this is all that is created when you have your own company GPT model. From the front end, you just access this, and the front end even can be bypassed via API. So the next thing we're thinking about is how to integrate interfaces to the AI into other applications without even having to use the front end. So this is the front end. So if you use the front end, this is what it looks like. You have your templates and your prompt libraries. You have your conversations stored here, and you have the file storage on top. And here in the main area, you're just writing your prompt. There's the prompt input and output, and you have settings where you can just switch to different models. So, and the interface does not change if you use ChatGPT or Mistral or Gemini. Yeah, our services in the ICT is we consult with our customers what are suitable use cases for large language models. We do prompting workshops, so they get they have the understanding on how this works, and we are also working on connecting internal applications to those AI models. Yeah, what are our learnings? Our main aim is AI should be first and foremost an assistant to the people working in the administration and in the city companies. They should not replace or automate anything yet. The first step should always be having an intelligent assistant for the employees. So content generated by those large language models has to be checked by humans. So there you have to have the human in the loop there. As you all know, the AI landscape is changing in a breathtaking pace. So as a small IT company, you're having a hard time keeping up, so you need partners for that. So this is why we partnered with 546 AI. We also partnered with Risk Software that just presented. We were there also for our knowledge exchange. And AI tools will be incorporated in many standard applications that we now know. So the big companies like SAP or Fabersoft with the electronic document management system, they will incorporate AI features into their products like Microsoft does. What is important is at this early stage, we're still in an early stage, I would say, is to identify suitable use cases that have the most benefits for using ICT. So yeah, this was it. Thank you. Here are my contact details. If you want to know more, I'm happy to answer questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I have a question for you, especially with AI, the humanizing thing. All the elder people don't know if it's a human, how they type in or talking to with a bank. How do you see that yourself for the city of Linz? If people communicate or texting, is it more formal, standard, very administrative, very reserved? How do you manage that way of communication?
Actually, I would say we don't yet do that because the AI that we are experimenting with is not targeted to the citizens yet, and this is on purpose because this is a whole different situation. So the AI we use is targeted to interact with the people working in the city administration. There we also might find this gap of older people not adapting so fast, but there is this AI expert group and they are promoting the use of AI, but for specific reasons the city of Linz was not over quick to provide something that is targeted to the citizens, because that's a whole different game and we have to learn internally first before we can go out.
All right. Thank you very much for your presentation. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next guest, Johannes Braumann, Creative Robotics. Give him a big applause. And Creative Robotics researchers from the University from the Arts and Design in Linz that was set up with the goal of investigating robotics as an interface between the digital and the physical world. Good luck.
Awesome, thank you very much. So we saw a lot of bigger picture AI, and now I want to go a little bit into the niche. So what we do, maybe you see it with creative robotics, can be kind of opposite maybe. It's technical on one side, artistic on the other side, and you can imagine that this is also for AI reasons kind of the niche of the niche. But let's first go a little bit into what we actually do. So we work with robotic arms. So you know them from the automotive industry. They do mass fabrication, but we use them in the creative industry. So for us, it's very heavily about individualization, customization, small lot sizes. And production doesn't always mean it's a physical product. It can be a performance. It can be an art piece. And to facilitate that, we develop software interfaces that make those connections between the knowledge from the creative industry to robotics easier. In industry, those things are, for example, used to contribute to bringing rockets into space at relativity, for example. But what we're especially happy is then to see how it also makes this accessible to new user groups. Like here, this is a French-Lebanese workshop that introduces new people to robotic fabrication. And this is super interesting, I think, to see in places where you probably wouldn't expect it. In our own teaching, it's been our experience that the robot as a physical device that does something, that fabricates something, is a big motivator on introducing students to new topics, from obviously programming on one side, but also topics like geometry, which are very important if you want to define those processes. And I think we can have a similar effect in artificial intelligence in a way that the robot can be seen as a way to make this kind of heavy or highly theoretical stuff sometimes more accessible and more interesting to students. But I think what's super important to remember is that the robot or AI, and this I think fits to both, is a tool. So this is not, at least for us, it's not its own purpose. We really see it as one of the tools that we have in our inventory. Because what we do is that we look at processes. We look into how we can make new products, how we can change industries, like for example here in the textile industry, how we can make them more sustainable. We can also look in a more kind of closer level, like not this high level of kind of product or process flows, like here to motion capturing an artisan working on a traditional Moroccan surface processing process. Sorry. And I think the level of AI is then very different in the projects. I think in the artistic projects, you can have those very pure AI projects. So this is a project, for example, Emanuel Golub that he exhibited at the Smithsonian Museum. Or for example, here, this is a project by Amir and Noor that received an honorary mention at this year's Ars Electronica Awards. And I think here you can go more quickly into those algorithms in AI. But for me, coming from my own background as an architect, actually, AI is very strongly embedded more as the tool, really. So it helps me to write repetitive code in a more efficient way, helps me improve my papers and publications. It makes our 3D scanner make more exact 3D scans. And of course, we use individual technologies like computer vision that are also heavily utilizing AI technology in a way. But I think this is the big difference when we look at industry, where you have those AI applications like here for picking an arbitrary object, is that industry is often at the end of a value chain. You have a product and then you want to fabricate it. And I think using AI at that stage is easy because you have a very clearly defined task. But for us, it's often different. It involves like developing a completely new process, like here electrospinning to repair textile garments in a more efficient and more sustainable, hopefully, way in the future. But what we really enjoy about, didn't know there was an animation. Anyway, what we really enjoy about robotics is how we can engage with different fields, with mechanical engineering, I'm really sorry for that animation, with arts, and of course then also with artificial intelligence. And we try to create those environments where we can engage with people from other fields to kind of together create new and innovative products. And I think one of the next opportunities that we'll have is a project for urban production that we are starting in October. It's funded by 720,000 euros by the Austrian ministry. And the idea is really to bring together disciplines to set up infrastructure and then to explore how fabrication can come back into urban spaces. And I think this is going to be a challenge that's going to affect quite a lot of disciplines, and it's going to be very exciting. So thank you very much. And if you fit into the project somehow, then of course feel free to reach out. So we're definitely interested in partners from other fields, AI or not. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. A small question for you then from the robots. If you would build your own robot, how would it look in terms of to work in the arts or in architecture? Because robots has limitations in terms of movement and rigidness. What kind of robot, creatively from a human point of perspective?
Well, my very personal and now very current answer is that I'm grateful that we don't have to build robots, because building robots is super complicated. This is kind of, you need engineers, you need mathematicians. For us, the beauty of using those robotic arms that we saw, the industrial robots, is that we don't need to build them. We only need to think about what do we want to do with them, what kind of processes do we do. And I think this is also one of the reasons why, in Linz there's a robotics department, but they've got a completely different approach to robotics. For them, industrial robots are boring. They are products, they are developed. For them, this is kind of the past. They're developing the future robots. For us, I think the interesting parts are really the processes, looking into how things are done by hand and then not duplicating it, but thinking what can the robot contribute there? How can we make new products that build upon, for example, both craft knowledge on one hand and on the other hand on the capabilities of robots. So at the moment, I'm grateful that we don't have to build robots, but what is now happening is that you're seeing more this kind of approach to modular robots, that you have certain systems that are already well developed that you can kind of put together and then create your new system with it, even if you don't have this super specialized or super wide team that you need to build your own machines.
Yeah, I think you're right. And that's the biggest complaint what I hear from a lot of artists is that they have to adapt to certain limitations to the machine, but there's never that the industry is never ask artists a way something tool needs to be built for their way of benefiting creativity. I think we're still going always getting industrial machine of automatization, and then we play around with it instead of that, especially when you talk about science, art, and technology, is that maybe we turn around the curve point of learning what is really needed and then being built in that sense.
I think it's important to have really the robot, the machine that you work with as part of the process. Because very often, this is like also in industry, you make a product and then see how can you fabricate it. And maybe also for artists, they have the vision they want to achieve, and then they see, well, how can we build the machine for it? Yeah. And I think often the approach is better to really, if you know a system, then you can work with it, you can design with it, and design for it. And I think then arguably you might get better results because you're working within this field that is open to you.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. If you have questions later, here's here nearby. Our next guest, Tomo Kihara, is there, coming on the stage. And Daniel Coppen is his colleague. I'm not sure if he's here, but no. Okay, Tomo's going to talk. The project was invented to demonstrate the role of arts in non-formal educational activities and how arts raise awareness and create reflection on topics such as ethics, about AI. Stage is yours.
Hi, so my name is Tomo Kihara. I'm from Tokyo, and I'm an artist and game designer, and my interest is in using these new large language models, or what we call AI these days, to push the medium of games. And we are now exhibiting an installation called How Not to Get Hit by a Self-Driving Car, which got us the honorary mention this year for the Stars Prize, just in the ground floor. So how many of you have tried this game? Maybe not. Okay, maybe do try it later. Maybe today I can show what we're doing with this and some other examples. I hope the video plays. Oh yeah. So to give a quick video of like how our installation works, it's basically like a game where you have to go from the start to the end without being detected by an image recognition system that is similar to the ones that are used in systems like Tesla. So participants have to do crazy things like wearing a cone or like wrapping about to get to the goal. And if they do manage to get to the goal without being detected, we show the screen that says, "Congratulations, you win. However, a self-driving car would have hit you." So in a sense, like it's a game to create these edge cases that these models have not learned yet. And you do have the choice at the end of the game to either like train the system to make it better or just delete it, which is posing this question of, do you want to keep yourself more like, do you want to keep your privacy, or like you want to make these systems better? And yeah, it's being developed by me and Dan, who wanted to be here, but he's a bit now sick and he's resting in a hotel. And we actually took this photo in San Francisco, and we used our tactic to catch a Rogue Waymo, which is a self-driving car that's around in San Francisco. And for those of you who don't know, you can use like a stop sign and a few cones to actually catch a Waymo, and it's pretty cool. I want to show the video, but I think we forgot to add it. Yeah, so I was told to like answer some questions in the stuff. So some of the questions that was given to me from the organizers was that, yeah, what are the current challenges and weaknesses of current AI technologies? How do you address in your project? And I guess like one of the things we are very interested in this is how these cameras or image recognition capabilities of these so-called AI systems are being deployed into the cities, and it's seeing us back. And we see this everywhere now in like surveillance cameras, but you also see this in places like even in vending machines to tell you what kind of age you are. And I guess our interest for the project we just showed especially is around how self-driving car technologies have been moving on from these LiDAR technologies, which basically are like 3D sensoring technologies that allows you to learn the 3D model of the environment, to just only like computer vision focused systems. So Tesla, for instance, has taken away these LiDAR sensors because they are too expensive, are now just using these image recognitions, basically, which is just 8 cameras on a car. So if it's just that, as you saw in like the video I just showed, it's actually easy to trick them. And I guess like one of the things we want to raise awareness of is how these systems are not as perfect as these companies pose, and how how also these companies are getting the data of people around them without any user's consent. So that's, I guess, what we are doing with the project. And the final question, the other question was around educational training and awareness-raising activity around AI. And we are building another game called Outro.ai, which is coming soon on Steam this year. It's a game where you have to draw something in a way that the AI can't understand, but only humans can. So let's say you have a prompt of a cat, and I have to draw it in a way where the AI can't get it, but let's say my mom can. I hope the video plays. Oh.
Introducing Outdraw AI, a human versus AI party game where you draw things that humans will understand, but an image recognition AI won't. Up to 6 friends can join the game using your phone or tablet as your controller. In each round, one player will draw, and the others, plus the AI, will guess. The drawer first picks a secret prompt from categories such as animals, actions, or even concepts. Next, they just gotta draw it. But remember, your aim is to trick the AI while making sure your friends still get the picture. I wonder what this could be. Once the draw is done, all the guessers will submit their best guess, including the AI. If you fail to fool and the AI guesses right, then humans lose. But if any humans guess right and the AI is tricked, then humans win. So to win this game, you've got to get a little creative to work around the AI's knowledge and score humanity's victory. So sharpen your pencils and your minds and get ready to outdraw AI.
This was a bit of an advertisement, sorry about that. But I guess the point I wanted to make here is that I personally think it's really important to not use these AI systems in a way that replaces our human creativity, but as a way to enhance it. So this game was one of the examples of that, where you have to draw things that these AI systems can't recognize, meaning that it's not in their data system and it's not something they can reproduce. And yeah, that's something I've been very interested in. And if you're interested in also playing the game, do visit outdraw.ai. It's a website, and click on the wishlist stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tomo. I'm going to have some questions.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, the role of arts in non-formal educational activities. I mean, you as an artist, and ethics. Are you working on a new project that is specific on new ethics, or are you working on a new project now, or can you not tell it yet?
Yes. So
give the highlights.
I mean, I guess I think the term ethics is also problematic because when you mention ethics, are you talking about European ethics or Japanese ethics?
From an artist's point of view.
From an artistic point of view, I would say that. When I use ethics, I would say, I guess it's, I do want to make games first and foremost. So I often use this metaphor of a spicy mochi, where it's nice, it looks really nice. And when you play it or when you bite into it, it has this spicy kick to it that makes you think and reflect on what has just happened. And that is, I guess, what I'm trying to do with it. For the project I'm working on, maybe it's, maybe I'll share it in next year or something. Do look forward to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks for everyone coming. And if you have any questions after non-public, you can ask me any questions. It will be great. Give them a big applause. Our latest duo coming now, Sabine and Stefan, from the future electronic, the AI courses of the Arts Electronic Future Thinking School. Both are coming on stage. And they're very successful. And for years, they already sent it to go in a new department, the Future Thinking School. And they're going to explain a bit what they're doing. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind introduction and also the opportunity to inspire you with a short contribution of the Future Thinking School. We are part of the Ars Electronica family, and the Future Thinking School has set, so we're waiting just a moment to have some nice pictures in the background. So this is us, and we are the Future Thinking School, and we are part of the Ars Electronica family. And the Future Thinking School has set itself the task of bringing to life future topics for employees, for apprentices, and also for managers in our training programs. And there are a lot of training programs we do at the Future Thinking School together with the Ars Electronica Center. And in the recent years, of course, naturally, there was a thematic focus on AI, in teaching AI. But today, we want to show you two special projects that really come close to our hearts. And the first one, outstanding project, where is the presenter? There is the presenter. Was a cooperation with the AMS, Upper Austria, and also with the VFQ, Society for Women in Qualification, Linz. And it was called Future Studio for women, especially for women. And the aim was to help women re-enter the world of work. And in a 2-day workshop, women could experience and could excite themselves about future topics, especially AI. And more or less, 1,500 participants have taken part in these workshops over 2 years and have had a lasting impact on the responsible use of AI, not only in their everyday life, but also in professional life. Yes, the second one that is really close to our heart, and it's still going on, is the aim of this program is specifically to address apprentices from every professional field and from all sectors. And in a 1-day full program, we cover a lot of themes, a lot of topics, not only artificial intelligence, but also innovative spirit and media skills, of course. Yes, and so far we have already welcomed more than 600 apprentices at the Future Thinking School in this program. So these are two projects that really, come to our hearts. But Stefan, how did we teach them AI?
So,
you need to present us. So
thank you.
A little bit confused today.
So, how do we do that? How do we present? How do we teach in a very low-based level education way? So we start with cats.
So I do it for you?
Yes, please.
Of course we do it with cats.
I'm a biologist, but this is not the reason why we're talking about cats. Cats are a very important part of our workshops because we can explain with this animal a lot of things about artificial intelligence. So we start actually with everybody has to draw a cat. And the idea is to ask why we are able to draw a cat. So what is beneath it? So you need a little bit of information about cats. So if I ask you to paint a cat, there are some characteristics. For example, these elongated pupils or the pointy ears or the whiskers. So these elements has been there to recognize that this is a cat. But to do that, we need a lot of experience with cat. And we have chosen cats because everybody of you knows cats quite well, I guess. Some of us own cats, some of us don't like cats at all, some of us knows how they feel when we pet them, some of us know how they sound. So we have a lot of experience in the course of our life with cats. And so this is necessary that we can bring information out of our brain on a paper. And what we have produced right now is something like that. And this is, we are talking not only about cats, we are talking about neurons. So this is the second chapter. This first chapter was about data, the importance of data collection. The second topic, or the second chapter, which you can see here right now, is about data transmission. So how is it possible, or how does it work that data is transmitted from one side to another? And when we talk about technical developments, often it's helpful to look at nature. So when you want to fly, first people who were able to fly watched birds before. When you want to invent a suction cap, an octopus would be a good inspiration. So we have to look out of nature, then we get inspiration to have technical things done. And indeed, there is a role model for artificial intelligence, and it's this little thing here, which is part of our brain. And you can see there is an input area on the left side, which is represented by the red. And the blue flashes are, this is the transmission area. So we have an input area, a transmission area, and we have an output area, and we have a core, and the information is getting there, and then the nerve cell is more or less dividing if the information is getting further or not. And if we have another slide, so the next slide would be quite equal to this slide here. Now you can see a digital neuron, and you can see more or less the same elements again. You can see we have an entry area, we have a core, actually, which is deciding which information is giving further or not, and we have an output area. So in this stage, and in a very simplified way, we can teach that there is something in artificial intelligence we already know from ourselves. We know we more or less we know our thinking, we know something about our brain, and we can use this information to tell something about artificial intelligence on a very low-based level. And this is about the chapter's very short, brief excerpt of our programs. Very important is, in addition to having, the low threshold. So you have to pick up, you have to enter people where they are in their daily life situation. So it's very important that when we do these workshops, that you use applications which are, of course, accessible and, of course, free of charge. So there doesn't have to be a border, there doesn't have to be an obstacle on the way to use those applications. Another very important point is then we offer tours through the workshops, through our museum. So we go through the museum and have a look at the exhibitions, and then we have to try, or we want to try, to have as many hands-on objects as possible, because giving some into the hands gives another kind of experience. And then, of course, at the end, it is very necessary that everything what they have learned inside the workshop or during the workshop, they should directly use or directly participate and integrate it in their normal life, in their daily life situation. So on the next slide, I can show you some of the applications we use for that workshop. For example, Ellie, we use Ellie to show what is the communication with the chatbot, for example, or we use Image Creator to create images, or we use ChatGPT to produce contents and texts. So these are the programs and the applications we use to give an entry to people who had not much or no experience with artificial intelligence at all. So what it's about.
And in our training experiences and teaching experiences, we face not only the challenges that lie in the AI applications itself, but also on a higher level, of course. And these topics are, of course, bias, fakes, and the sovereignty of truth, and the potential for manipulation. And for us, it's very important, and the aim of us is not only to address these challenges actively, but also to promote the responsible and the sustainable use of AI in our courses and training workshops. So that we all reach in some time, maybe, the future skills we need. So thank you for your attention, and we're happy to answer the questions.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you both for coming. I'm very curious in that sense.
That's good.
Why was the need for you both to start the school? Well, is it because a lot of people have been questions, or was not there yet? What was the original spark for you, the spark to start this coherent and to
go outside with the Ars Electronica topics, of course, because Ars Electronica is a big family, as you all know, and we have different So we have the Ars Electronica Festival, we have the center with the exhibitions and the future topics, and there was a need to create a school to go outside with these topics and to teach, and to teach a broad spectrum of also target groups. Not only schools children, but also maybe women that are in need of help to help with the future of jobs maybe, and also to get AI to the apprentices of every field of work.
And because of the public visitors in our museum, we often have to do with people who have not a lot of information about this topic. And then instead of children, adults ask what is artificial intelligence and what it's about, and then you have to give an answer on a quite low-based level. And that was the idea for founding the Future Thinking School, to pick up people exactly there. So what is it in a very basic level, and what can we do with it? Everything what is further, it's not our part. But the low-level part, the low stressful part is ours.
Thank you very much for the presentation. If everybody questions afterwards, they're here about future. And I will thank everybody for coming, and the speakers, welcome from Electronica. That was it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.